Voices of the Youths podcast, a podcast that amplifies.
I was drinking a lot. I was drinking a lot. I'll be honest. I was drinking
water, juice.
Honestly, what do you mean water? We know what we need.
There's a lot of things that you can drink. So which is which?
You know, the whiskeys, the Jack Daniels, the champagnes.
Yeah.
Living the fast life.
Nati para uka tete ukalishe mu youth. Ukalishe mu youth. Para uka sister ukalishe mu youth. Ukalishe mu youth. Panoni paseti tifuna voice ya mu youth. Ungangale ndiwe kemba. Panoni paseti tifuna voice ya mu youth. Olowenza vibala. Panoni paseti tifuna voice ya mu youth. Nabonse bama business. Panoni paseti tifuna voice ya mu youth. Naima muma official pushing em.
What's good and what's bad, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Z Voices of the Youths, a podcast that amplifies. Today we've got another episode, a very interesting episode, together with beautiful ladies in the house. So make sure you do subscribe if this is the first time that you're joining us.
Today's episode is sponsored by Table Beauty Center, a salon and a barber shop. So they offer all hairstyles and haircuts. Their barber shop has got services such as full haircuts, head massage, as well as hair washing. So while you're doing this, while you're having your haircut, you are offered free water, free tea or coffee, depends on which one you like, as well as those people that feel my tea and my coffee no win. They also offer free wine. But just don't. Their salon offers wig installation, knotless braids, fishtail, and what else, ladies?
Box braids. They have wigs, wig revamps. Yeah.
All the good things, ladies.
Yeah.
All the good things.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tsepiso Noria Liwali. I'm an economist and entrepreneur, and I'm happy to be here.
Hi everyone, my name is Serena and I'm a TV and radio presenter. I'm a media personality. I'm also pursuing my bachelor's degree in law.
Wow. But if I make a mistake somewhere, I can call you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Not for free, guys. It's not easy.
Money is needed.
Studying. Have you seen the books that we study as lawyers? They're too big. I can't be doing it for free.
Stuff price.
Okay, we'll see
But
first.
stuff price.
We'll see.
Alright, good stuff. Ladies, let's start with this. Give me one work yes. Pickup line. Very simple.
Are you an angel? Are you an angel? Because you look like you just fell from heaven. Yeah.
I think I've heard that one.
Yeah, many girlfriends have. Kaya.
How about you?
Honestly, I can't think of a pickup line, but I can think of certain ways that guys approach that are just like gents talk, you know? I think for me is, let's say I meet someone at a professional event and then they come to me as if they want something professional. No, we'll work together. And then in the DMs on WhatsApp, it's when can we meet? Are you free for dinner? And it's like, can we be professional? I thought it's
outfit.
business. You know what I mean? Like, so I think I can't think of a pickup line right now. But guys, no, let's keep it. If you started with business, let's finish with business. Someone comes with the intention of anything else and I'm not interested from the beginning, I will tell them, you know? Otherwise, they're just going to be talking to themselves on WhatsApp.
But on that one, again, another issue that I have is I want to find out from you ladies, why is it that when a guy stops you, I don't know, like the first thing you think of is maybe relationships, he wants to I don't know, in those lines. So it's like you give these impressions, like you want stuff like that, very reserved. Why is it like that?
First of all, it's not an impression that we don't want. If a lady doesn't want, gents, she doesn't want. Like, I feel like the problem is guys want to make an excuse. No, she just refused because what? Guys, when a lady says no, it's no. Like, no means no, you know what I mean? So I think this thing of also, like, it's not an impression. That's the thing. So there's some gents that think, okay, if she says no, it means I should just push harder. I don't know, maybe people are not meeting assertive girls, but for a lot of us, when we say no, Just stop. Yeah.
But it can just be as simple as a hi. Like you're walking, I'm like, hi, how are you? It's already just that. You don't even know what I want to tell you.
So the thing is, it's also, I think, about the approach that the man comes with. You know, many a time he'll come licking his lips and acting saucy and trying to make it seem as though, you know, he's supposed to be the guy I'm with. When in actual essence, I say I'm even in a relationship. So sometimes also just to protect ourselves from bruising the relationships we could be in, and also just allowing the men to know that there are standards and there's protocols of how to do things. Yeah.
So what are those?
Females are different.
Yeah.
For me, you can approach me, but firstly as a friend, before you ever think of going beyond anything. You can't approach me the first day you meet me as saying, hi, babe. No, I'm not going to agree to that.
Right? Yeah. And just to add on to that, you're saying, why is it that when a guy first approaches, we think it's for relationship? Let's be honest, give. Like usually when guys approach in the streets, especially in a certain way, like Tsepiso has said, it's with the intention of, okay, let me slide in her DMs like that. And then you just know, like some people even come with remarks that are very uncomfortable, sometimes harassing, you know? So it's the approach that has happened these days. Like if someone genuinely wants to approach me in the road, like for what? Business? Really? I'm walking in the road up, I'm taking a walk, then some guys come, sister. They've just looked at me, they don't know if I'm running a business. So even what else do they want? But you know, really. Okay, no, fine. I mean, sure, to the guys that are approaching as friends, it's okay. But also, if she says no, don't get touched.
Okay, for me, the only concern I have is that same. Okay, you said it's not an impression. Yeah, but like, how do I get to talk to you again? You know what I mean? How? If you're thinking, I want a relationship or bruise whatever relationship you have with your man or anything like that. What if I just want to be friends? Maybe take it slow like that.
So you take that one. What to say?
It's a bit of a heavy question. But in this day and age, there are very few men that are genuinely just looking for friendship.
Very few.
In this day and age, it's either one, he has a woman and is not content with her and is looking for more from you. So it's either he wants you to be a side chick, he wants you to be the main chick, he wants you to be the woman, you know, that he deems or seems you are meant to be in regards to him, or he's actually looking for friendship. But the ones looking for friendship are probably like 5%.
Very few.
Because even when it becomes friendship, it goes beyond that most times.
Yeah, I think we're impatient. Not really. I don't know. Because at the end of the day, we can be friends, but then how long are we supposed to take for us to start having those conversations?
It's the song Umwa Ametemu Nobi.
And also the question is, why can't some gents just genuinely think about having females as friends? Like there's really some guys out there that they can't have a female friend. Paka they hit on the girl, paka they try to make a move. Like it's not a good look. And you have to be honest, there's really a lot of guys out there that need to work on that. Like I've had male friends in the past that I genuinely thought, okay, this is a friend. But then as time went on, it ruined whatever friendship that we created because they started coming off a certain way. You know what I mean? Like if it's meant to be, sure, read the girl. Like, see, okay, does she like me? Then I can make a move. Not just because you're infatuated. No, she looks good. I met her on the streets. I'm gonna make a move like that. Read the room. You know what I mean? It starts from somewhere. And there's also an approach to it. Like, don't be coming up with funny statements. No, you know, you're hot, whatnot. I think there's a very classy way, gents. There's a very better way to make a girl know that you like her.
Yeah.
Ask her out to dinner. Ask her out on a date. Like, if there's one thing that for me, I don't like, is like mediocre proposals. Like, oh, by WhatsApp, you know, I like you, ka? And then I should tell you what? No, I don't know. Have you told me properly? Like, it doesn't have to be something extravagant within your budget. You know what I mean? But I feel,
and you can also, so just to add on to what you're saying, in regards to mediocre proposals, at least be a man of substance. You know, you don't have to have money for you to have substance. You know, even just there's those perfumes at VIP for men, 17 kwacha, but they are so strong. The man will be smelling so good. Just like a VIP. You know, in 100 kwacha you get a trim for 15. 17 kwacha you've bought the VIP. at least a white
Look
t-shirt,
good, you know?
you know,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
beard is done up nicely,
Yeah.
your shake, you know, you look like an actual man of substance.
Yeah.
So that even when you're approaching females, unless you're approaching also a mediocre female, then it's okay to
Then
approach
it's
in a
fine,
mediocre
yeah.
manner. But if you're approaching females from the perspective, for example, a female like myself, I won't expect you to approach
Yes,
me in a
girl.
very mediocre manner.
Right? Yeah.
I'm able to pay for my nails. I'm able to buy my data. I'm able to do this and that. And then you want to come and say, oh, can I buy you a scratch card, talk time?
Then,
Soche, sir.
really.
No.
And additionally to the physical substance, mentally as well. Like the conversations, like females like me as well, the way she put it. Intellectual conversations are also good. Not just come in and all you can talk about is maybe making sexual references. I think that's what a lot of guys would turn to do if they know that they don't lack the intellectual substance to stimulate a woman that they have approached that they know is at a certain level, right? So just be someone that also knows what to talk about. I think I'm one of the people that is really, I'm into deep conversations, right? And so to guys out there, also be one person that can be intellectually stimulating to a lady. Yeah.
Read a lot, guys. Guys, if these things. Anyways, so that was just a commercial break. We can now get into the substance.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about relationships, guys. I think let's start with family first of all. So, what kind of relationships do we have with our family members back at home, relatives, extended families, and all that? Or maybe if I was to put it in this way, what's lacking in these families? Yeah, in terms of relationships.
If I'm to give an example from my home, we're raised in a very united manner. So you won't even be able to know who is extended family and who's not extended family. So just like last night, my mom's siblings, all their kids were in my mom's house. That's how we've been from when we were young. We're always together. Every birthday we celebrate it together before there's any party. There's just like a oneness in regards to how I've grown up personally. Yeah. But one of the things I feel like are lacking, especially in African homes, is not support per se, but the African man's narrative that things should go the way they were in the days of Proconso Africanas. You know? Yeah. In those days when, no, my grandfather worked here and did this, from there he became this. So now they think we also have to go in that direction. They don't believe in, oh, I can order food online. No, you should start off, go to the shop. But there's Yango Daily. No, they don't believe in technology. They don't believe that we're actually growing, like Gen Z, you know, we're evolving and things are getting better. They believe that things should be done by the book. So even if I say I'm reading Gifted Hands on my phone, they'll say, why don't you go and buy the book in Book World? So I think that's the only issue that I'm having now. Like I don't want to call them backwards, but
Not even culture, anyways.
No, culture. I think that's what it is.
Culture.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
How I've grown up is how you should be.
Yeah.
How about
I think for me, when it comes to understanding how our families shape who we are, like that's a big part of who we all become as adults, in that it starts from the background. Like how Tsepiso has said, she's grown up very united, and so even now it's still there, right? And so for me, I guess I grew up in an environment whereby I felt like my parents needed to understand certain things about themselves in order to be able to shape us. So why I'm driving at that is back to the point of how our childhood shaped our attachment styles. Like the way I was able to interact with people when I became a teenager, even in primary school, was largely due to how I related with my parents at home. And so one thing that I would like to put out there is that to parents, whatever you do, how you interact with your child, whether you're a parent that shouts, like know that your child is going to have low self-esteem, like low confidence as they're growing up, right? And so I'm not saying I grew up in a home where my parents were shouting a lot, but then I grew up in a home whereby my parents needed to understand certain aspects of themselves. And so there's a statement that I saw recently where someone said, sometimes we need to understand that our parents are also human beings, and this is the first time that they're living life, right? So you know what I mean? Because a lot of us would tend to be like, me, daddy, nah, what? Like, you know, such statements, you blame them. And so I had to get to a certain point whereby I had to build myself because I didn't grow up being built confidence-wise. And so like training up children in a confident environment is very important. Like reaffirming your children as they are growing up is so important. I think for me, I needed more of that growing up. Like now, you can't even tell that I did not have that, right? And so there's different attachment styles. That's very technical when it comes to mental health. I'm sure we can talk about it another time. But then there's different types of attachment styles that were coined in psychology, and as the years go by, these attachment styles are being researched more on, and people have been able to evolve and get help because they understood that, oh, so this is because of my dad did this, or this is because maybe my dad died, or my dad was this that. And so to many people out there, we're starting on this ground, and I'm saying this because even as we get to talk about relationships, you need to understand that how you grew up shapes every single interaction that you have. And if you ask someone that was not confident and you're now confident, it's because at a certain point you got to find yourself. And so it's possible to get out of a certain way that you were trained in your mind growing up. Yeah. And I even referred to the Bible. It says train up a child in the way that he should go, right? And so that's why I'm starting on that basis. So even when parents see that whatever you do, you are training up a child. So imagine a child growing up in an environment whereby this like it's like toxic. These are kids that grow up to get into bad groups, alcohol abuse, drug abuse. And so we have a lot of people these days that are lost, that don't understand that, wait, this is a mental thing. Yeah. And so with the older generation, like I just feel like the issue of mental health is also another thing that is not yet in their culture, right? Yeah.
You know, I've just remembered back in high school, I remember there was a teacher that used to say, you are representing your family. So like every time you do something, you just be like, you are representing your family. You know what I mean? So it's like what you said, most of the times it's how we are brought up. That's how maybe we behave the way we behave. So let's say if a person lacked love maybe in the beginning, is that something that we see now where people can't they're not that open, you know, it's usually just business every time, like, oh, I need school fees, I need shoes for school, stuff like that, you know what I mean? But you never have this conversation where you're saying, okay, I'm going through this. Do you have that type of relationship where you can confine maybe mom or your dad to talk about certain things that's outside business?
My father is a very staunch man. His beliefs are his beliefs. He can be swayed here and there to believe in what you believe in, but he's a very strict man. My mother, on the other hand, luckily her being very young, gives us a lot of freedom, gives us a lot of openness, even to just be who we are. I can be with my friends in the house, you know, be with my partner in the house. I can do all sorts of things, even in her presence. But that's why she trusts me. Because in regard to her, for example, she could say, okay, my mom was very strict, but it led to a lot of mistakes. Because now when I had the chance to have the freedom, it was haywire. So with us, she took a different approach and said, let me give my kids the freedom that I didn't feel like I had, so that I can trust them, you know? And that's why, even when I was in the university, I did make some silly mistakes here and there, but I knew my limit because I said, my mom trusts that I would never do this to her. I would never bring this back home. You know, for example, I'll never bring back a pregnancy home. My mom trusts that from Unza, Tsepiso is just coming with a degree. Yeah. So I told myself, okay, there's certain things I can do and there's certain things I can't do. Only because she's given me the freedom.
How did it get to that point where she was able to trust you for like that?
So I don't want to say we're a modern family, no. But luckily, most of the people in my family are young. And my mom is also very young and young at heart as well. So she does know that, not in a disrespectful manner, but we tell her like, mommy, but me, I was in your wedding photo. You know, like I was in the wedding photo.
Like you call her out.
Yeah. So don't be calling me out for things that, you know.
Yeah.
And so she will laugh about it and she'll say, okay, so what I'll do is let me allow my daughter to bring someone close, you know, so that I can meet this person, so that even if anything would happen, I know where to point. Yeah. So we're just very honest. That's one of our biggest and strongest superpowers as a family. We've been very honest with one another.
So that's trust. Do you have like a scenario maybe that happened and she was like, okay, I think I can trust my daughter? Because most of the times, you know, like trust doesn't just come from nowhere. Obviously,
So-
maybe you go out and you are able to make it or stuff like that.
So there are actually many situations. Thankfully now I'm born again, and most of those things have been, completely dealt with and completely died. But I remember when I first went to university, and I was drinking a lot. I was drinking a lot. I'll be honest. I was
In
drinking
water,
a lot.
juice.
Honestly, what do you mean? What? We know what we mean.
There's a lot of things that you can drink. So which is which?
The whiskeys, the Jack Daniels, the champagnes,
Yeah.
living the fast life
Yeah.
because it felt good.
Mm.
Genuinely, the
Mhm.
club life. I was in the club from Wednesday, say to Sunday, every
Student.
week. Yeah, student.
Study.
Yeah, and study at the same time. But what I think made my mom trust me was one day when I something happened and the police caught us.
Wow.
So now we were in what the Gen Z will call the chooks. We were now in the cells,
Oh, no.
and I had no one to call. So I called my uncle, and he sent money for us to come out, me and my friends. So after he sent the money, we came out, and from then I would just openly drink even in front of my mom. I said, you know what? I'm
You
not going
know.
to lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to hide. Me, this
Mm.
is what I do. And I didn't drink. We would drink a bit in front of our parents to not show that as we dance. No, I was I was actually drinking,
Mm-hmm.
and I was being myself. I was dancing, I was screaming, I was doing all sorts of things, and it made her realize, like, okay, she's able to handle her alcohol. So even when she goes out, she's managing. In that, even at a family party, when my uncle's friends are there and they're like, I'll be drinking as well, well and good, but there's a certain reservation that I would have, which obviously she had sleepless nights about before I had shown her that I'm an okay drinker. You get it, right? So that's one of the things that made her trust me, luckily. But thank God that now she doesn't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God that the
Growth,
brand
baby,
has
growth.
completely changed.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
It's okay to experience these things. I think at the end of the day, you must see that shit. You know what I mean? Like there was a phase, there was a time we used to keep so much hair. And I mean, back was at together. Apa, you don't even get forced to anything. Funa che, come che, stuff like that. Kachim che, at cafe. Yeah. Let's get to you. What do you think?
On how I grew up being open. Okay, I didn't grow up being open, honestly, to my mom. Like there was that closed off interaction. Like I said, I earlier mentioned on how our parents as well had parents that shaped them a certain way that because mental health wasn't a conversation back then, our parents weren't able to realize that, you know what, I'm carrying certain habits with me that were not necessarily healthy from my parents. Like the parenting back then was very strict. Not for everyone, but it was
Yeah.
quite strict. Culture, a lot of things just played an
People are
influence,
mistaking
right?
it for disrespect. I think certain topics were considered as disrespectful. Like you can't talk about this with your mom or your dad.
Very much like the way she's saying, like our parents would hide around to do things. You have like a boyfriend, you sneak around, next thing you know you're bringing a baby back home. So I realized that okay, my parents didn't grow up being open, and so in our household as well, because they didn't realize that the way I was raised was a bit shaky. Even as we grew up, like being this is your parent and they are just your parent. Like I didn't have that interaction like okay, my mom can also be my friend. Like funny enough, you know how like sometimes as girls would want to borrow maybe a bangle from your mom. My mom would be like, you know, I'm not your friend, right? You can't be borrowing my bangle. Ish, mommy. but there's just the beauty of growing up into like the woman that I am now. And now I'm so close to my mom. Like it's even crazy. Sometimes I'm like, oh mommy, why did you used to shout at me like that? Like why? You know, now we're able to talk and understand each other because we're able to have conversations about her childhood and you know the trauma that she experienced. So much so that I'm able to now understand. Like the younger me that would go like, but why is mommy shouting? Now goes like, oh, so she used to be shouted at. So her parenting style is maybe I should shout at my children, then they'll do that. So I think now we're so much closer. With my dad, yeah, he's still pretty the mindset for parents back then, because my dad is like older, like he's way older than my mom. Right?
Yeah, even mine is.
Growing up, I was a daddy's girl. Like now it's like it's changed. Like the way I was close to my dad, I'm now close to my mom. And with my dad, it's now like, daddy, I need money. Okay.
It's like
phone
a
calls are
financial
like 10
relationship.
seconds.
Yeah.
Like money, yeah, send, okay, good. You know, but he's still a great man. He still has that thing of, okay, my child is a child. Like for me, I'm still a little girl to him. My older brother who's in his mid-20s, he's also still like a son to him. And so for him, there's that mindset of, okay, I can't be too friendly because these are my kids. But for my mom, now that I'm older and we able to talk about certain things, she even tell me, no, I dated this guy back in the day. I'm able to tell about my relationships. There's just, I don't know, there's just something amazing about when you finally open up to your parents. And for me, it started because I was able to open up. Like, I remember there was a time when I was going through a lot. Like, I had a really bad friendship breakup situation at school. And then I was really sad about it. Like, honestly, friendship breakups really hurt. I'm sure we'll get to that. They hurt, you know what I mean? That's what I say. But people tell me, no, what? So what happened was I was dying inside. Like, this actually was physically making me hurt. I was depressed. And then I said, okay, I can't suffer alone. Like, I have family. Why don't I feel the need to tell these people? So I tested it. I'm like, let me tell my mom about this. I called her. I poured out my heart. And to my surprise, that began this journey of us being closer. Like, because I was able to just show her that, you know what, this is what I'm going through. From then on, when I tell you that she tells me whatever, I can tell about anything, whether it's boys, money, whatever it may be, right? So I cast the first stone, and I removed this mindset of feeling like we need to hide. There's just something about when we're in university and feeling like we need to hide from our parents, you know? Yeah.
I think we've spoken a lot about this, but also just saying even the hard stuff, I feel like it has really helped. Yeah. Because there were a lot of things that were very difficult, but I still shared with my mom. Yeah. Things that I would never think I'd ever tell her. I still went ahead to tell her. That made her trust me. And I feel like it made me also realize that it's okay to make mistakes and feel accepted after that. Yeah. Because it's one of the things I feel like as Zambian youths we've been finding, like, struggling with, feeling like our parents have not accepted who we actually are. But I got a lot of acceptance after sharing even the very heavy things. For example, I tell her, like, oh mommy, I went to the club this day, and then this big man came and approached me. I didn't know what to do. My friends were busy, you know, entertaining it, and I was like, oh my god, what do I do? And you know, she laughed. She's like, oh no, for me, when it was my time, this is what happened. And I'm like, oh, and we like built a conversation from there. Yeah. Even the hard things we actually will conversate about. And I've also heard the saying that the more a woman grows, the closer she becomes to her mother. Oh yeah? Yeah, I've that's why you find married women are on the phone call with their mother every day.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Married women actually talk to their mothers so much. My mom will call my grandma 15 times a day. They are just talking. Oh, you won't believe my husband has done this. Oh, you won't believe the kids this. Because now, that's not just your role model, but that's the person that's your best friend. Yeah. So when I was younger, my mom was like, a pain to me.
You too?
Yeah. Because she was trying to, you know? Yeah. But even now, she'll have her days when she want to be a mom. Yeah. I'll just sit down and say, okay, mommy, look at my age now. Let's talk to me. Don't talk at me. Let's have an actual conversation. And then she'll calm down after some time and she'll say, okay, I didn't like how this went. Yeah.
Okay. That's thanks for sharing. So it's like we have good relationships with our parents, and I'm sure we've shaped differently. Do we have these conversations maybe with our peoples? Our peoples. I'll narrow it down to finances. Very common.
Yeah.
So do we have such conversations with our peoples, you know, money wise?
For me, I've been in a relationship for 3 years now. And
what?
I've been in a relationship for 3 years now. Yeah. And funny thing, entering the relationship, seeing as the person I'm with is basically colored, there would always be, people would always say there's the colored stereotype. You can't talk about everything with a colored because they'll beat you. You know? I don't know. There's just a Zambian narrative.
There's that stereotype.
But I've never had those experiences. I've never had the experience where I can't say anything. I think I actually say too much. Like, I say more than I should. For me, in my relationship started with, okay, let's be honest, let's be open with each other. So even when either of us makes a mistake, there's always an openness, and we said honesty and transparency. every day we'll tell each other, okay, babe, honesty and transparency. What is it that happened maybe today that you forgot to tell me? What is it that, where did you, you got this, okay, how, in regards to our finances, I know a lot of African parents will not agree with what I'm about to say, but when you date to marry, rather when you're courting, you have to talk about finances. You have to make your finances not one per se, but your partner must understand where the money is coming from. For example, on my end, I'm a female. I'm in these corporate offices and the like. Evidently, my partner will want to know, okay, babe, there's this amount of money that's there. Oh, babe, you're buying yourself a Benz. How? Where is it coming from? Yeah. Is it a sugar daddy? Like, what happened?
Who's doing
this?
Yeah.
So if at the inception of things, I'm not communicating like, oh babe, I got a client today, they paid me 2,600 for a cake, I'm saving 2,300. 300 is just for us to use. Or, oh babe, my mom has given me 10,000 now to do this and this and this. The change, I'm going to keep it and use it towards this. Or babe, I'm saving for the next 6 months to buy this. And he'll say, oh, okay, I'm not doing anything with my money right now, so let me push in, let me help you save to get what you want to get. So in my relationship, our finances are it's something we're very vocal about. Yeah, very, very vocal about it. I don't think it's ever been an issue. We don't believe in loans. We would rather maybe I can get from Serena. She's my cousin. But we don't believe in going to sign at Nkongole.
Allah?
No.
Collateral
It's a trap.
No.
Yeah. No, we don't believe in those things.
Yeah, cool. How about you? How long? 5 years.
I will not disclose that, but yeah, I am also in a relationship, and for me, of course, it's not something that I will like emphasize on like I have like the expert experience, like no, I even coach people, no, not like that. But then on being open, it's really very important. I think when I also got into my relationship, I'll tell people out there, guys, the beginning matters. Like, one thing that people don't realize is if you plan to date someone that you think you're going to marry, if you're not doing things in the dating phase, then how are you going to start them when you're married? Like, why can't you start it when you're dating? You're thinking, okay, when we get married, we'll do this. Start it then. Because why, if not, then why are you dating people that you don't see yourself marrying? Like, I'm one person that I always advise my friends, like, if you're going to be this person just for playing, like, don't do it. Date to marry. And I'm one of those people that I'd always tell people I can't date someone that I don't see myself marrying. So even the person that I'm with, like, I was with some friends the other day, and they're like, Serena, this relationship you're in, do you see yourself marrying this guy? I'm like, trust me, I would not be in this relationship if I didn't. They were just curious because I was telling them, oh, I miss him, what. Then you know how girls are like, oh, for you, must be nice. Then they start asking you questions like that. So when we started dating, I remember asking, oh, by the way, how much do you make? And then he asked me also that question. And even with the things that I do, like, let's say today I had an event earlier. He was very open to it. Like, he's really an amazing guy. And, guys, just date amazing people. Yeah, he was very open. He had no issues. Like, oh, this is how much I make. This is what I do. Like, I'm aware of his work. And then even I have a business idea right now. We were talking about it just yesterday. It's like, oh, that business you want to start, how's it going, whatnot. And so openness for me just makes me feel even more comfortable. Like, I feel secure as a person. Yeah, especially looking at the fact that I'm someone who didn't grow up feeling secure and I had to help myself. So naturally, the relationship has to be one that also makes me feel secure and makes me feel confident and affirmed as a person. Because if I didn't work on myself from the way I grew up not feeling secure and confident, I would have been dating a guy that would make me feel less of a person. Like, he will step on my confidence. But because I was able to come out from my mindset, from how I grew up, and make myself a confident woman, make myself someone that can speak, now I'm able to also bring that into my relationship, in that I'm able to communicate better. Trust me, there's a point when guys, like when I first started dating, I was like, whereby they ask you what's wrong, there's something wrong, but you just feel like there's just this kind of spirit that is telling you, show attitude, just go quiet. Yeah, in fact, block him for a bit and then come back later. I never did that, I'm joking, but yeah, people do that. Yeah, so in the beginning it was a learning experience. I would honestly say I had some toxic habits, but guys, toxic habits can be worked on. You can't expect people to take your toxicity and just say, oh, because I love her. No, like, work on things that you can work on. If it's your personality and you're dating someone that doesn't like your personality, then move away from the relationship. So yeah.
You know why I asked? Because there's people that will argue with you to say others are not comfortable knowing. Because okay, it depends with the kind of person that you are with. Because other girls will feel like okay, but guy was maybe I don't make as much as she wants, stuff like that. So maybe I might not want to open up to that extent. Because maybe you leave, you're like because there's this a lot of girls.
I totally get it. But then also for the man, like, do you want to end up marrying a woman who you have to be hiding your money and your pay slips from? Like, so on the pressure, I think I have, honestly. Like the time when I wasn't confident in who I am and what I want as a person. I remember if like I like a guy, I would not be able to like feel secure if my friends aren't able to say, but your man, oh no, but that. Like it's just a funny thing when you don't know who you are and you haven't found your confidence. Like being easily influenced, I think we can use the term peer pressure, like especially when we get into the teenage years. So for me, I went to an all-girls high school. And guys, girls' schools, obviously, people come, after the weekend with stories on Monday. The guy I was with, and then you show pictures. If everyone hypes him up, then you're like, oh yeah, this guy is good. If people don't say, really, then you're just like, but this guy. You even ask your friends. Maybe some people even go as far as saying, is he ugly? Like, I think he's ugly. But then such really doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, it's your future. I would really advise go for how someone makes you feel, and yes, also like. Look at people, but then use your own criteria to see who you can date. The pressure is real, and I feel pressure gets to you if you're not confident in yourself. And I was talking to someone yesterday night, a friend of mine, and I was telling her like I genuinely feel bad when girls approach me and they don't have confidence in themselves. Like someone comes to me and they tell me, Serena, I want to be like you. I instantly tell them, no, like don't say you want to be like me. Say you want to be the best version of yourself. And so people with that type of thinking of I want to be this person who often find themselves also thinking, I want a partner like hers. Because automatically, even themselves, they want to be someone else. So even in their partner, it's always, what does this person think about my partner? The moment their friends say, guys, just leave him. He's broke. He's what. Like you end up, marrying people that are someone else's favorite, and then you won't be happy. So I've been at that point. I'm no longer at that point. For now, it's how I feel about the person, how they look to me, if I'm attracted to them, and less about what other people say.
I'll be very honest and very open. At inception in my relationship, my friends would always say, like, why him? He doesn't have a car. He doesn't have this. He doesn't have that. He's not working. He's not doing this. But for me, my mom always told me, when you're looking for a man, look for a man with vision, one. And look for a man that has a kind heart. Because a man with a kind heart is always going to value you. Regardless of what happens. They are so kind that you will be the main priority. So, if you ask me about 3 years ago, I said, okay, babe, this is the situation. The money situation is not looking so good right now. How exactly are we going to go about it? Even on my end, because I don't come from the, I'm in an okay family. So he said, okay, what are we supposed to do? So I said, I'm the brains. In our relationship, we say, I'm the brains, he's the action. So he said, okay, let's start renting cars. Let's start renting cars and put them on Yango. So he started renting cars and putting them on Yango. And would make just my 50 kwacha. And then pack 50 kwachas every day. Then she were paying, at that time, I think we were paying 650 for a Vitz, 650 for a Mark X. And that was when in the Yango days. Then what we would focus on getting would be those bonuses, those 2.5 after 2 days, those bonuses in the beginning.
So we should rent a car and rent it?
Yes.
So you rent?
Would rent and then put it on Yango. So he would be doing the Yango. Wow. Genuinely. He would do the Yango. And my friends would laugh at me. Hey, your man is the Yango driver. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time will tell.
1 year down the line, we said, okay, let's try and buy a car through renting, through Yango, like get on contract. We had saved about 20,000. After that, my 50 kwacha, we're singing every day. Slowly, I think we paid like 32,000. Don't need to find the person is a scammer. That car belongs to Jelum. He hasn't finished paying for it. It has no white book. Imagine. That's how we sat down, my family, everyone. They said, okay, give the kids back at least their 20,000. That's how he gave us 20,000. The car was even taken because he sold it to 5 people, including myself. From there, we said, okay, let's rent another car. So I started renting from this man called Mr. Pundi. We'd rent a blue Vitz. And at that time, we were struggling so much, genuinely, because the economy had just started getting a bit like high. This was, I think, 2022. And I was at Unza, and my friends had this life, you know. And I said, okay, I also want, you know, but yeah. So we said, okay, let's start renting a car again. A few months down the line, boom, bought a Cakes. Few months down the line, boom, I bought a Vitz. Few months down the line, boom, got an Oris. Few months down the line, boom, now I'm in a Benz. And my friends will say, you got a Benz car. Meanwhile, they're the ones that were laughing. Why is your man driving a Yango? You know? I remember his phone was broken, his Huawei. And I was using like a Samsung J7. And I always wanted an iPhone. So I think I got an iPhone 7 Plus or something. And we were saving slowly. And now my friends will see me and say, Tsepiso 15 Pro Max, ka? Not knowing that it's because of actually running with a man that had vision. Running with a man that was kind. That was kind enough to say, okay, I will stoop, I will go down, you know, I will serve people, I will drive up to 03 and wake up again at 4 a.m. and drive the whole day up to 03 just so that I can give you part of the life that you've been wanting. That's what a kind man does.
Right? Are you feeling emotional?
Emotional right now, like.
So
wow,
when
that's
people
so
will see me, they'll think, okay, she's building a bakery, she's doing this, but all those things came because he first said, start saving to buy your first block. Buy one block at a time.
Bon appetit. So it just talks about the hustles that you do, that people do, and people also like stopping whatever hustle that they're doing because of what people say. So how can you be doing this? Why should you be doing that? But then at the end of the day, even if they say they want to feed you, you know what I mean? I can't come to your place and so on. You can need DSA for 1 week. It will look weird. You know what I mean? So that's actually inspiring. And yeah, you just have to trust the process and timing, like I always say, because at the end of the day, only time will tell. That's what we say. Save Mapanga sense of it, but we all start from somewhere. That's the thing. And you guys, I'm actually impressed. That's a good story to tell. I just wish you guys the best. Because I might ask another question to say, have you ever had that argument with your man to say, like a serious argument, not an argument to a boss? Like after going through all this, you know what I mean? Like you've got a business running, and then boom, all of a sudden, you've got this argument, and it's so big that it threatens almost everything that you're going through.
Yes.
You know? How did you move past that?
Arguments are normal in a relationship. Not overly heated arguments, but for us, we have people that mentor us in regards to our relationship. So we got the same church as well. So it makes it different for our ideologies to remain the same. So you find in regards to spiritual things, we'll rarely have an argument because we're being fathered by the same man. You know, being Pentecostals rather, sorry. We're being fathered by the same man. We listen to a few people like Pastor Kingsley Okonko, Apostle Joshua Selman, these other people that do give tips and the like in regards to how exactly to maintain a relationship. But above everything, I feel like we are friends before we're anything. And we've created a very close-knit bond where we have a rule that we can't go sleep at night, whether we've argued or not, without speaking. And one thing I appreciate is that for me, whether he's argued with me or he hasn't argued with me, the night will still end with "You're very beautiful and I love you." Whether I've made him upset or he's made me upset, it will always end in an "I love you." Me, I'll even put a full stop. "I love you too." Full stop. You know? No emoji. Even if I'm upset. Even if I were to show you, like on my phone, you will find, if I search "I love you," you will find, I can show you. You'll find like 6,000 times, and I've only recently gotten the phone. So we've chosen to always affirm each other, even in our arguments. And I do, but we made a rule like, okay, let's not use first names when we're in an argument because it makes it look too strong. So for him, he'll handle it. He'll be like, but babe, you would have done this better. But for me, I'm like, you know what? No, Jay, you can't do this. And then he's like, no, babe, this is. I think it's also personality types when it comes to relationships, because I have a very strong character, but my man is very willing to serve. So he's very willing to keep quiet and allow me to rant and say everything I have to say, of course, in a respectful manner. And after that, he'll be able to, bring out the points that he feels, But he's always doing it in a very, babe, my darling, my love, these what I noticed. For me, I'm the one maybe who will be like, but you can't. Yeah. As a woman, I think naturally. Yeah, then at the end, like after 10 minutes, I'll feel like, ish. Okay, I'm and you feel foolish. Even when, for example, he's done something wrong, and I scold him so much, I end up feeling so foolish because he's talking to me so calmly. And he's apologizing, and then I just keep that thing for, let me be upset. Even when I'm wrong, I want to be the one upset. Yeah. That's why I said initially, date a kind man. Kind men are the best men you could ever find. When a man is cruel, whether he's wrong. I remember one of my exes, I won't mention names, was very cruel. In fact, he cheats on me and then beats me after that. I've caught him cheating, then he beats me. Imagine. So, yeah. So kind men are the best way to go right now, because they'll always have your best interest at heart and they wouldn't want to stress you. And I think also when you just come from a foundation of let's build together, it's way easier. I now understand when my mom says you'd rather be with a man that you build with than a man that's already established. Yeah.
That opinion?
No, I don't. I think some men are. I'm joking. But I honestly don't know. I really don't subscribe to that type of thinking, because guys, why are you calling God's creation trash? Like, we are all created by God in the image of God. So what are you trying to say? Yeah. I don't subscribe to that type of a statement. But again, your question is still very general. But then, okay, I'll try to answer it the best way I can. And for me, when I think of who a man should be, I really pray for men out there to just find themselves. And number one, find God. And then find themselves. One thing I've noticed is in our culture, we have this thing of thinking that a woman should be the one to be, the worshiper in the home. But then homes that thrive are homes where both partners are striving to be at a certain level of worshiping God. So I feel like a lot of men out there have this narrative like, oh, I don't need to be the one. If we go in churches, like, for example, the church that I grew up in, most of the women, like even we had these groups, for men and women. Like the women's group would be very, very crowded, right? And then the men are like a few. And I commend men that have found their way to God. And a man who knows God and loves God is a man that can love a woman properly. Like, that's a man that understands, like Tsepiso said, love is kind. And he's a man that will show you that love is kind, right? And so when I think of men, I won't point to the negatives. There's a lot where both we, men and women, need to work on. But because we're talking about men right now, in terms of that, like, men really need to build their relationship with God. Men need to find their confidence. And when a man is confident, like, there's just something about how it shows. Like, you even attract the right type of women. I've had men that complain, like, I don't know why I always attract these girls. Like, I have this friend of mine, and he's like, each and every single time he's telling me about a girl, like, this guy is so kind, but he doesn't know how to love himself. Like, he's ready to give love to these girls, and for him the problem is his definition of love is, oh, I took her for a movie, I spoiled her, I bought her a phone. And I'm like, you keep attracting girls that are attracted to what you can do for them, but then love yourself first. Like I told you, what do you love about yourself? And he's able to work on his physical state. So if the first thing you think about is not physically, like, what do you love about your personality? Like, who are you as a person? And so this made me realize that a lot of men need to be in touch with themselves and need to be in touch with God, because I strongly advised my friend, like, love yourself first. Like, you don't make time to the way you're able to spoil a girl because I like her, and this is a girl that my friend will meet in like 1 week. And I'm able to talk about this because this guy is like, he's a really good friend of mine, and I consider him a young brother because he's younger than me, right? And I told him, like, know how to love yourself. And I'll always advise this to any other guy when I'm talking to my older brother and he tells me, oh, this happened with a girl. I'm like, you don't make time to show yourself affection. Have you seen how we as girls are always like, oh, soft girl, oh, I'm gonna do it, right? But then for guys, it's like, yeah, work, money. Like, what do men do to show themselves that love? You know. Another thing about men is like, I don't know. I feel like there are few men that can be honest with each other about like the things that hurt them, like have honest conversations like about depression and whatnot. And I feel like I know some men that are having such groups now. But the more that happens, I feel also men will learn to open up. Like there's some men that say, that's you believe I still can't cry as a man. I would like my man to cry for me, not that he's cried for me, but then I would like, you know, someone who can be vulnerable like that. Like don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Like it's okay, not to just anyone. I know there are bad women or bad people, bad fellow men out there. Yeah, there are some people that can use it against you. You know, but it's okay. Like you don't have to be vulnerable all the time, but and choose who you can be open with. Yeah. So that is. I hope that answers your question. Like I said, very general, but I've tried to basically put it out there.
Answered.
Yeah.
And just one more question.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, relationships is a big topic.
It's a big topic. We haven't even talked about something else. You know what I mean? So maybe we can have another part 2.
Yeah.
Some will hear from the viewers. If they want part 2, definitely we'll get to it. But my question would be, I just wanted to find out, you can give 2. What do you think are some of the duties of a man in a relationship? And the opposite, your duties in a relationship. So you can just give 2 each. Okay.
What do I think are the responsibilities or duties of a woman, a girlfriend? I'll start with a girlfriend, not wife,
Not wife.
Not wife. A girlfriend in a relationship. So, scripture says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing." So then, he who finds a wife, not he who gets married to a wife. He who finds a wife. So a girlfriend must already be positioned to be a wife. You don't become a wife when you get the ring. No. You are positioned as a wife and then you are found by the man. So you are meant to be a wife and you are meant to be a good thing. So that by the time he's finding you, he's already found his good thing. He who finds a wife has found favor in the sight of God and in the sight of men. He who finds a wife. Same point. You are meant to be one that is filled with so much favor. As a girlfriend. Because then as a girlfriend, you are preparing yourself. You are positioned as a wife. Here currently where I am, I'm meant to be positioned as a wife. So by the time my man is then finding me, he's already found me as Tsepiso, my wife. You get it, right? I'm not waiting to be made a wife first by the ring or by the engagement or the wedding ceremony. No. So what are the 2 duties of a woman? Be a good thing. What do I mean by be a good thing? I mean, have your values in place. Have a set standard. People say, these men of God say, God doesn't have a particular person for another person. He has characteristics and attributes of a person that he would want for that person. So for example, the Lord knows exactly how Serena is and exactly who Serena is meant to be. Okay, even 5-10 years from now. So he wants Serena to be with a man that is like this, like that. You understand? Say a man that is confident, a man that will financially provide, a man that will do this, that will do that, a man that is vulnerable. Because the Lord knows that Serena can't manage to be the man who is too pompous. But he also knows that there's another girl, maybe there's Judy, who needs a man that has shoulders, you know? So those characteristics of a man are different for each individual. Okay, but it's also mainly about how you yourself are positioned as a woman. Are you positioning yourself to be found, or are you still lost? Yeah, I think that's the biggest question I could pose to the female viewers. Are you still lost? Even if you read Proverbs 31, the Proverbs 31 woman is a virtuous woman. She has not a man name. She's a virtuous woman. She has a spirit of craftsmanship. She knows how to use her hands. What do you do? Can you cook? Can you clean? Can you bake? What can you do with your hands? The Proverbs 31 woman is a woman with a spirit of craftsmanship. She can craft things with her hands. Yes, she's a prayerful woman, well and good. But she also has all these other things to her. So my only advice is position yourself well as a woman and read Proverbs 31. dissect, okay, what does virtuous mean? So that it shows you exactly how you should be. As a man, oh, you said 2 words. Sorry. As a man, as the spirit leads, yeah. As a man, people are different. So for me, I like, scripture says, and Daniel was a man greatly beloved by God. And David was a man after God's own heart. The only reason we still hear till date about King David is because he was a man after God's heart. He made many mistakes, but was a man after God's heart. Until today, his legacy has remained. Jacob, one man, was named Israel, a nation that we still hear about today, because he was a man after God's own heart and a man that believed in encounter with God. One of my favorite things to ever say about men, that I feel like is one of their biggest responsibilities, is to be a man after God's heart. Many people will have issues with this, but David was only as successful as he was because, 1, he always inquired from the Lord, and 2, he was very open and honest, and he had a very intimate relationship with the Lord. So when a man has an intimate relationship with the Lord, he knows exactly how to love you. Yeah. And also just have some money.
Have some money and drama. As usual. I know drama is very important.
Right? 1. So I'll just start off with saying, since we're closing out, right, to the people that are watching and listening, I would say customize your relationship. Like, your relationship cannot be like other people's relationships, or it cannot be the idea that someone else has of a relationship. Yeah, you can have people to guide you and your belief process, but then at the end of the day, customize your relationship. And the reason I'm saying this is because there's many people out there that have this belief that has been influenced by, number 1, social media, number 2, by friends, and by so many other people around them. And so one thing that I always tell myself, even as I'm dating right now, is to customize my relationship. Like, I have my personality, my partner's personality, and together we customize that. It's like when you get a car and you want to pimp it, you're doing what you want to do to it because you know it's your car. And so you customize it the way you like your car to be. And it's the same with the relationship. I just wanted to leave off with that because a lot of people have this social media standard that, no, my relationship must be like that. So now to your question of the qualities of a man and a woman. I will not separate them, right? I'm going to put them together. Number 1, respect, support, love, and value, right? And I'm going to say this applies on both sides because you asked for 2 on each side. Yeah. I'm going to put them together because you must be able to pour into each other, right? And there's a saying about you can't give what you don't have. If you don't have respect, you can't give your partner respect. If you don't have value, you can't give your partner value. If you don't know how to love, you cannot love your partner. And so respect, love, value, support are very important in a relationship. If we go to the issue of money, we're talking about support. Go to the issue of business and how people can build each other. You can have a partner with vision. There's some people that have had vision, but then because they dated the wrong person and they dated someone that can't support them, trust me, those people are living a life of, I wish I did this. I wish. And the life of regret is a life that you will never enjoy. You find people are married, yes, they've been married for years, but then they constantly feel like they're with someone that held them back and held back their dreams. And so support is very key, even as you are dating in your relationships. Like I mentioned earlier, if you can't do it when you're dating, what makes you think you do it once you marry that person? You know? And so value. There's this narrative that young people have, like, okay, I'm the prize in this relationship, and so he should dash at me. Like, there's such a mindset, like, you know, someone was complaining to me, like, he thinks he's the prize here because he doesn't value me. And I genuinely felt bad for her. Like, there are people that will not value the partner. Like, value your partner. Look at your partner. See the value in them. There's a reason why you dated them in the first place. Don't see yourself as the only one that maybe needs attention, the only one that can be spoiled. The same way you want your partner to value you, do it to them. Reciprocation is key. And respect is key. I know, especially, you know, for men, women, respect is very important on both sides. But then I remember my partner, for me, like, he really values respect. And so in everything I do, I'm thinking, okay, this is a man that I respect. When I'm speaking to him, when I'm doing whatever, even if we're having an altercation, I know that I constantly need to respect him because he told me from the beginning that one of his love languages is to just feel respected and valued, right? And so respect is important. Like, you can't disrespect your partner. The words you use, how you act. Like there's people that disrespect their partner so much, and it's just so sad. Like, why are you speaking to someone a certain way? Why can't you represent your partner a certain way when you're not with them? Like, how do you speak about your partner? How do you think about your partner? Even your thoughts can be disrespectful, and it all starts from the mind. Like, if you disrespect your partner in your mind and you don't value them, now physically in an argument you tell someone they're useless, that's why, then it causes problems. Next thing, it's a toxic relationship and whatnot. So yeah, that love as well. See, if love is like a command that is love your neighbor as you love yourself. And so now when we're in a relationship, that love, it now transforms into this type of love that is, between a man and a woman that have chosen to love each other, because we have these different types of love that were given in the Bible. There's love, God's love for us, agape love, and there is it about 4 or 5 types of love, right? And there's also the one that is described in relationships. And so we need to learn to, now that's where the customization comes in. How do you guys show your love? How do you express the love? It all just comes together, So those are the 4 words that I will say, and they all branch out into the different aspects of a relationship: respect, love, support, value. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. No. You haven't talked too much. No, we can tell. I think we'll need another one actually, because we still have things to talk about. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate. We would like to hear from you, the comments, feedback, what you liked about this episode. If there's any questions that you have for our guest here, or if you like another part 2. So we'll definitely give you guys. So thank you very much for your bundles as well. It is what it is, and will always be what it will be. Let's keep it that way. It has been yours, T-Raw, Z Voices of the Youths. We have amplified. So here we shoot, yeah. Tiba shoot when we're ending the show. So we just put this camera and then so that if it does die, the episode
malavu conversations relevant na mpamvu we cement no angoze baimvera bafana bakulu na angoze